Welcome, everybody. I'd like to welcome all of you and thank you for attending to the 7th Annual Community Matters event, which honors outstanding leaders who have made a difference in our community, hosted, of course, by Jewish Family Service of Northeastern Pennsylvania. I'm truly honored to be with you tonight, both as your MC and as a friend of this year's honoree and admirer of him, Jim Alperin. This evening is about two things you don't often get, that don't often get enough attention: commitment and compassion. In the world we live in, it's easy to focus on what's loud or flashy, but JFS and Jim remind us that the most meaningful impact often comes quietly, steadily, and humbly. Jim's reach in the community goes far beyond JFS, and I'm not going to sing his accolades because I'm sure our speech givers will certainly do that effectively. But if I do my job well tonight, we'll keep the evening on track, celebrate Jim properly, and no one will miss dessert. Before we begin our formal program, we want to share a short video that offers a window into the incredible work JFS does every day, helping individuals and families through moments of challenge with dignity and heart. As you'll see, Jewish Family Service is a human service organization, which reflects the Jewish tradition of caring and compassion for all people in need. Through professional counseling, advocacy, and educational programming, JFS services seek to enhance and strengthen the quality of individual, family, and community life. If you could please turn your attention to the screen.
I'm Sheila Abdo. I'm the Executive Director of Jewish Family Service. When I think about Jewish Family Service, I'm amazed really at the role that JFS has played in the community for over 100 years. So I look at standing on the shoulders of giants, which is something I think about because the reason that JFS was started over 100 years ago was the community coming together to help the needs of those in the community, and the mission has been maintained. So even though over the years we've changed programs, added programs, eliminated programs, we've come to a place right now where our strength really is in treating mental health in our community, families and individuals, and aging services. So again, as we evolved from Holocaust survivor programs, resettlement, dental, now today we're getting referrals from agencies all over the community, multi-county, helping people that need help in their daily living, and we're proud to do it.
Jewish Family Services is one of the few agencies in the community that provides quality, ongoing mental health counseling, both individual and family counseling, in such a way that allows many families who would not have access to services and really assists families in moving forward in issues that they are having.
Jewish Family Service is an agency that connects strongly with our Jewish community. Jewish families have a sense of comfort knowing there's an agency that they can identify with that will be able to help them with their anxieties, their fears, and life's challenges. And to be able to be connected with an agency like JFS in a world where anti-Semitism is a real fear provides a sense of comfort and provides an opportunity for the Jewish community to be able to talk about topics and talk about their life's challenges in a setting with others who understand and are willing to listen.
Jewish Family Services helps us with our discharges, especially their social work department. Any difficulty that we have, we can outreach to them. It's a very good resource for our families. It's a good resource for our patients inside of the building. It's a good community connection, and it's integral because it helps us on the admission side. It helps us to decrease some of our rehospitalization rates because we have support in there where someone might have just went back to the hospital. Instead, they can call a resource at Jewish Family Services, who then calls us to let us know there's something going on with the patient.
I believe it is extremely important for our students to partner with the agencies, but in particular Jewish Family Services. Working with the elderly population, Pennsylvania is the 5th largest state with people 60 and over. And also it gives them an opportunity to see the people that we're working with. About half of our students are in a program called Abigail, which means that once they finish medical school and then they go do residency somewhere else, they come back to work within the Geisinger footprint.
One of the core values we have at David Elliott Poultry is community. It's that giving back to the community that we're a part of, and that includes kosher consumers, it includes the local Scranton and Northeastern PA region, and being able to partner with Jewish Family Service for this fresh food pantry helps us support those missions.
At Beth Shalom Academy, our learning does not just happen in the classroom, it happens outside of the classroom as well. And Jewish Family Services has been a big part of helping us out with that, with partnering with us to give to the community in many different ways.
JFS is one of the great gems in our community. They serve our families, they serve our older adults, they serve a population of individuals with behavioral health needs in a way that other service providers don't. They are a meaningful group of individuals to work with. They are supportive. They are small but mighty, and I really believe that the work they do transforms families, lives, and individuals.
In this area, especially, there are so many nonprofits that are vital to what happens in the community. Most of these agencies would not exist if it weren't for volunteers helping out. Certainly, most of these volunteers don't have enough money to have staff do all of the services that are necessary. So those volunteers are a vital part of what goes on.
When I make my visits, I go once every 3 weeks and I visit 2 individuals. They are living in a facility. I don't believe they have any family locally, and so I don't believe they get many visitors. I think it's hard to be lonely for all of us. And when I was leaving the second woman, I said I would like to come back and visit, and she said, please do. People tell me they'll come back and visit, and I'm not sure they do. And I said, I will come back and visit. And I take that seriously as a commitment.
The most important part of community partnerships is to give back to the community, to be able to give back to one another, and also just to be able to learn different resources that are in our community.
There is a really, I would say, positive and impactful system of support that's in place for our Jewish community that really underscores the importance of our agencies in the community working together.
It's the longevity and the training and education and the values of Jewish Family Services that has been committed to working on an ongoing basis with children and families that has always put them in a category that is different from most of the other public agencies that you see. And the quality of that service has always been extremely important and cannot be overstated.
I think the most important thing that I do with JFS is remain a partner to them, even though I'm in a different capacity than when I worked with them directly in the community. They've served members of my family, they've served my friends' families and my friends, and they continue to serve our community in an incredible way that we need to continue to support, that we need to continue to encourage, and that we continue to need to make sure that we tell people about, because it is a true gem, it is a true support for all of our members of our community, and it is something that we should celebrate as a community, being a resource that we all can look to.
Thank you, everybody. That video says an awful lot, not just about the needs in our community, but how JFS quietly and effectively meets them every day with no fanfare. And it's gratifying to see all of you come out and support not just Jim, but JFS and so many friends and faces. It's very, very nice to see you all, and we've got a great turnout, so I'm very appreciative. I think everyone in the room knows that true service rarely seeks attention, but it does deserve support, and that's what tonight is all about. To speak more about that mission and the role we all play in it, I'd like to welcome someone who's been deeply involved in helping guide and grow JFS over the years, and who, I should also note, is, along with our other speakers, brave enough to speak before we start handing out the 50-50 prizes. Please join me in welcoming JFS President, Dr. Dan Ginsberg. Dan.
Welcome to the 7th annual community event honoring Jim Alperin, an outstanding leader who has made an impact in our community. Jewish Family Services of Northeastern Pennsylvania was established 110 years ago in 1915. JFS reflects the Jewish tradition of caring and compassion, which transcends faith and background for the Jewish and broader communities. A fundamental principle of our mission is to help strengthen and enhance the quality of life through our programs and services. JFS has a responsibility to maintain the highest standards of professional performance as required by the Council of Accreditation. Our agency is an affiliated organization of the United Way of Lackawanna, Wayne, and Pike counties, and a member of the Jewish Federation of Northeastern Pennsylvania. JFS is a participating provider with most insurance companies and accepts Medicare and Medicaid. A sliding scale is also offered based on family size and income. Our licensed therapists offer confidential counseling services to individuals, couples, families, and groups facing a range of challenging services. Treatment areas include depression, anxiety, relationship issues, social isolation, life transitions, abuse, eating disorders, body image, academic challenges, bullying, grief, loss, sexual exploitation, addiction, self-harm, aging, and trauma. Relationship enhancement skills are also provided to improve communication, parenting, self-help, and general quality of life. Additionally, we arrange for home visits, telephone contracts, educational and support groups, coordinate with home services providers, consultation with families, kosher meals on wheels, Holocaust survivor support, information and referral services, emergency financial aid, and personalized care plans. The Mayes Gelb Kosher Food Pantry, established in January 2001, was created to assist families and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Emergency financial aid helps cover credentials such as rent, utilities, and medical costs, as well as other essential household items during periods of significant financial hardship. We are strong advocates for the elderly who may be isolated and living a limited income, unemployment adults in need of interim assistance, and members of our community who are struggling financially due to difficult family situations or poor health. Jewish Family Services exists to fulfill 4 of the most important Jewish values. Gimut Asadim translates to acts of loving kindness, a fundamental social and spiritual Jewish value and obligation in the everyday lives of Jews. The Torah commands us to love our neighbor, and perform acts of kindness such as feeding the poor, providing for the hunger, offering adequate clothing to the least fortunate, and visiting the sick. Tikkun Olam is in Jewish teaching any activity that repairs and improves the world, making it a better place and bringing it closer to the harmonious state for which we are created. Pikua nefesh, he who saves one life saves the entire world. Tzedakah is the Hebrew word for charity. It refers to the religious obligation to do what is right and just. It is a central tenet of Judaism. The word tzedakah also means justice or righteousness. In the Bible, tzedakah refers to acts of helping others, making people feel special, uplifting lives, and providing goods and services. Thanks to the dedication of the wonderful staff, board of directors, volunteers, and many who financially invest in our mission, Jewish Family Services of Northeastern Pennsylvania will continue to strengthen our community with unwavering support, commitment, and compassion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dan, for grounding us in the heart of why we're here tonight. Now we turn to someone who knows tonight's honoree well, not just from a distance, but as a friend and colleague of both of ours, having served alongside us for many decades, both for the Foundation for the Jewish Elderly and Elan Skilled Nursing and Rehab, formerly known as the Jewish Home. I'm proud to have worked with both of them for many years, as they are both people of great character, and I've been fortunate to have learned so much from my association with them. Rabbi Samuel Sandhaus, affectionately known as Sandy, brings both wisdom and warmth, and tonight he'll help us understand just what makes Jim Alperin such a special person to honor. And if we're really lucky, he might even share a story or two that Jim forgot to screen ahead of time. Please welcome Rabbi Sandhaus.
I would never let Jim screen any of my stuff, and he knows that. I'm impressed that many of the men here are wearing jackets and ties. I felt that given the weather outside, I actually toyed with doing a John Fetterman ensemble. I'm glad I didn't, because, you know, my legs aren't worthy of display. You always worry about coming toward the end when you worry about people before you stealing your thunder. No one has, but had they, we all know that there's plenty of thunder when it comes to Jim Alperin. But let's get a little serious now. It seems like only yesterday that we gathered in this historic venue to honor Margaret Sheldon's accomplishments. It was truly then a very well-deserved tribute. And tonight we have the opportunity of celebrating yet another remarkable leader in our community. I'm truly honored to have been asked to introduce Jim as he receives the highly regarded Community Matters Award. You know, it's somewhat risky to put a microphone in front of a rabbi. You are a very enticing and well-dressed audience, and the air conditioning is working. I had hoped to be able to cut my remarks short, and blame it on the weather, but I'm not. So I intend to take full advantage of you, but we will get out in time before the desserts crust over. Maybe. The Community Matters Award, established by JFS 7 years ago, established and highlighted the achievements of many people, some as couples, others as individuals, who have been movers and shakers in our community. And if I may, I want to recognize those who are here. My neighbor, Maury and Sandra. And in case you worry about their welfare, I keep a good eye on them. I know their comings and their goings. I live right across the street. I think I saw Natalie Gelb. Did I see Natalie? Yes, there's Natalie. I saw Lou Niver. Is Barbara here? No, okay, you'll send her our best. Margaret is not here, is she? We miss her, and we'll mention to her how much we missed her. These are people who are, as I said, our movers and shakers, and now Jim becomes one of them. And he's a real mover and shaker. Likes to shake things up in a good way, In preparing my presentation, I wanted to demonstrate that as a senior baby boomer, 1946, thank God my father made it home from Europe, that I'm somewhat savvy or current on latest technology. So I consulted artificial intelligence, thinking that it would give me what we call in Hebrew, chomer lidvush, material on the topic. So I put Jim's name into ChatGPT, thinking that it would give me something pithy and revealing about Jim. So I requested the information, and a response came back that I didn't anticipate, but I understood. It said, very succinctly, "Do you have enough paper in your printer?" I didn't, so I decided that I could really summarize it very simply to say that, first of all, there's nothing artificial about Jim. What you see is what you get. Is that right, Patty? Okay. And that his intelligence is also authentic, as evidenced by his many successes and accomplishments. I recently attended a grandson's bar mitzvah, and one of the speakers openly admitted that he used AI to prepare his remarks. I'm not so sure that's appropriate to admit, but there's nothing I could do about it because he was my son-in-law, and he's an Israeli, and I'm just glad he married my daughter. So I was polite, but his words were very well taken. So I did seriously put Jim's name into AI, and I thought that it would bring, some nice fancy words and accolades, which it did. But it was bland. It gave me some really lofty thoughts, but as we say in Yiddish, it's untam. It didn't have any flavor. I'm not going to recite Jim's list of accomplishments, which we've all read about as the lead-in to tonight's affair. Rather, I want to put them in a larger and grander understanding. I have known Jim for almost my entire 46 years of professional life in Scranton, and I've seen how he has weaved a tapestry of accomplishments that has benefited and improved the community life. That tapestry contains a golden thread, which is the key to his record of service. That thread is a phrase that we have all heard. Tikkun olam. Dan, you're a shtickle rabbi. Okay, you mentioned Tikkun olam, the repair of the world, and Jim has talked about that on numerous occasions, because it is, I believe, a driving force in his personal and professional life. often quoted in the Talmud, which says that a person who saves one life saves the entire world. We've heard that. Similarly, it can be inferred that one who repairs a tear in the fabric of society likewise helps repair the entire garment. As a matter of fact, the rabbis in the Talmud first established the principle of tikkun olam as an imperative to improve the world and to protect the world as we would do for any other precious possession. We are called upon to do just that in so many different realms of life. I want to give you an example of tikkun olam and start with what I know best. Jim's work on behalf of the frail elderly is nothing short of game-changing. I am witness to it. It began decades ago as he watched his father Meyer and Uncle Effie lead the community in its efforts to provide dignified housing for the aging and insist on the highest quality of health care for the most frail. Meyer at Webster Towers and Effie at the Jewish Home, now known as Elan Skilled Nursing and Rehab, a name, by the way, inspired by Jim, to rebrand and reinvigorate the mission. Jim has a special gift for being detail-oriented as well as a visionary. Having served on the board of Elan Skilled and Rehab for decades, Jim was and is a leader in making the facility first class. That is tikkun olam. The ethics of the Father extols a person who is roeh es hanolad, someone who can see the future or envision the future. No, Jim is not a prophet. Don't let it go to your head. But he is someone with a gift of seeing the consequences of a decision and the long-term results of the action. Jim has an interesting approach in that he is so determined to improve the organization, he demonstrates both the patience and the perseverance to hammer home the merits of an idea. Is hammer home the right? Okay. That seems to be a family trait. In speaking with people who have worked with Jim, this one trait stands out. He doesn't see obstacles, but only challenges and opportunities. Repairing the world for Jim extends to his work with the larger Jewish community through his generosity to the Federation, ensuring that there is a steady flow of funds for Jewish causes locally and around the world. Soliciting Jim for his annual UJA gift is a pleasure that I have had on numerous occasions, even as he gently and politely critiques me for not asking him for more. Hint, hint, solicitors. Giving easily, often, and generously, as Jim does, contributes to tikkun olam, igniting the sparks necessary to achieve positive and lasting results. In speaking with Seymour Brotman, a name from the past, yes, a good name from the past, related his experience with Jim early on, decades ago. He said, and I quote, "Working with Jim was a delight, as he was a gung-ho, enthusiastic, and energetic young chairman filled with ideas and sincere commitments. It was energizing to work with him as he developed and motivated a very organized campaign of fundraising achieved to a high degree in Alperin fashion. I could go on," he said, "but we'll suffice it at that. Jim, more than anyone I know, is a total community person. His vision of tikkun olam must encompass other faiths, missions, and community building. His volunteer work over the years is diverse and focused on developing leadership as a key for the future. Community really matters for Jim." The great master of Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, Rabbi Isaac Luria, known as the Ari, taught that the Torah was given so that we could improve not only ourselves, but the entire cosmic order. He described how everything that exists and every activity you might do contains a spark of the divine. Our job, he taught, is to find those divine sparks, select them, and reconnect them to their original higher purpose, using the Torah as our guide. I believe that Jim, in his own way, using Jewish principles, strives for that kind of tikkun olam. Jim has another passion, and that's golf. I tried, but I really couldn't figure out how playing golf contributes to tikkun olam, except to say that it may settle his mind to get serious when needed, even though I learned that Jim is as serious about golf as he is about everything else, but that he does have a respectable handicap. Recently, you're not going to believe this, while indulging in a donut at Krispy Kreme, I have to admit my sins. I was caught in Krispy Kreme by an aspiring politician who came over to glad hand me in typical political fashion. Not recognize him at first, I introduced myself as Rabbi Sandhaus. His response was, I know who you are. You are Sandy Sandhaus. Now, how did he know that? I don't know. It occurred to me that my nickname may be a way of explaining the nature of Jim's relationship with me over the years. I'm told from a reliable source that Jim has been trying to achieve a Sandy in golf for many years. For golfers, a Sandy is a side bet where a player earns points for making par or better on a hole after the ball has been in the sand bunker at any point during the hole. Is that correct? That's what a Sandy is. It dawned on me that every time Jim and I interact, he may see me as just another Sandy, a challenge to improve my game. Achieving both Sandys, Jim, may be a dream, but keep on trying. On a serious note, as we celebrate Jim's many years of accomplishments, I want to take a moment to remember and honor Roseanne, whose life was tragically cut short, leaving an indelible mark on Jim, Rebecca, and Andrew. Like Jim, Roseanne was a dedicated community activist committed to the shared mission of Tikkun Olam, working to heal and better the world. Now, alongside Patty, Jim continues to strengthen his own commitment while forging new pathways to uplift the community. Together, they nurture their blended family, which now includes Kristen and Lucas, creating a legacy of love, resilience, and collective action. I want to commend JFS in its selection of Jim for his exemplary work to repair the worlds of so many individuals and families. We don't hear much about JFS, intentionally so, because the very nature of the work of its highly regarded professionals must remain private and confidential. Sheila and her staff, in her quiet and unassuming way, are healing many. So a big thank you to you, Sheila, and to your staff. It is said of a late chief rabbi of Scranton that he would announce the conclusion of his speech only to go on for another hour. That's not my plan, but I do have something additional to say. It's short, but not sweet. I want to address the elephant, not in the room, but the elephant in the world. Anti-Semitism, virulent, despicable, and violent, is rising at a rate not seen since the end of World War II. It's no longer just a troubling trend, it's a global crisis. In the face of this reality, Tikkun Olam, the call to repair the world, takes on a new urgency. We must not cower or retreat. On the contrary, we must rise, respond, and resist. This hateful resurgence is nothing short of a malignant force, and we are called upon to confront it with strength and resolve. But our answer must be more than defiance. We cannot abandon the work of healing, even as we push back against hate. Tikkun Olam remains not only a moral obligation, but is also a strategy of resistance. It reminds us that repair cannot be passive. It's purposeful. It's action through values. And as we say 3 times a day in our prayers, in the Olenu prayer, Tikkun Olam must be b'malchus Shaddai, must be within the sovereignty of the Almighty. Judaism must remain our compass, our source of strength, and our foundation as we confront darkness. To Jim, we salute you. You've shown us what it means to live a life of tikkun olam. In your words, your deeds, and your example, you remind us what faith in action really looks like. So we gather our strength. So let us gather our strength. Let us stand together. Chazak ve'amat. Let us be strong and courageous. In light of the dangerous and frightening war in Israel, I want to conclude with a short prayer that we say every evening in the synagogues throughout the world. And it's a very short prayer. We ask the Almighty to establish abundant peace upon your people, Israel, forever. For you are the master of all peace. May it be good in your eyes to bless the people Israel at every time and at every hour with your peace. Blessed are you, Hashem, who blesses his people Israel with peace. Thank you. Congratulations to you, Jim. Yeah. It's your turn, Jim.
Thank you, Rabbi. I must admit I also use ChatGPT, but what I did is I said, okay, here's my speech, cut it down. It did. And then I gave it to Patty and she said, cut it more. And she did. Let me start by saying how truly honored I am to receive this award from Jewish Family Services, an organization I've long admired and have been proud to support. Thank you to the board, the staff, especially Sheila, who I've known since high school, by the way, and everyone who made this evening possible. Of course, when Natalie called me to tell me I'd been selected for this award, my first thought was, a Lifetime Achievement Award? That's what they give you when you're ready to spend your days golfing. Which, to be fair, I'm sort of doing. But I think I'm still squeezing in a lot of productive work between the rounds. Still, it means a great deal to be recognized by a group that embodies what community truly means, not just in name, but in every action, every family served, and every life that's touched. I was born in Scranton 67 years ago, to Meyer and Joan Alperin. If I've done anything worthwhile in this world of community service, it's because of the values they instilled in me while I was growing up. In our family, service wasn't something you did occasionally. It was a way of life. My parents taught me that we each have a responsibility, not only to succeed, but to lift up those around us. But it wasn't just my parents. My uncles and aunts, my Aunt Tony's here tonight, also set powerful examples. When I moved back to Scranton in 1980 to join the family business, my father and my Uncle Effie, who I count among my greatest mentors, told me something that stuck. You should devote 20% of your time to working for the community. It's your duty to give back after the community has given you so much. There's something truly special about this region. People sometimes say Scranton can feel closed to newcomers, but I've always found Scranton to be connected. When Patty's parents moved here from Switzerland by way of New Jersey, they were struck by how close-knit the community was. Of course, everyone immediately knew them as Jimmy Alperin's in-laws. Only people from Scranton still call me Jimmy, and I love it. And when Hugo passed away just a few months later, the number of people who paid a condolence call was just overwhelming. It was a surprise to Patty and her siblings and to her mother, but not to me, because that's just Scranton. In Scranton, you don't serve strangers, you serve your neighbors, classmates, childhood friends, and that's what makes community service here so meaningful. You see the ripple effect, you can feel it. There's an ethos here that says, we are one community, and that spirit has made my volunteer work not just rewarding, but profoundly personal. Along the way, I've learned a vital truth. Nobody does volunteer work alone. I've been incredibly fortunate to have support every step of the way. From my parents who gave me my foundation, from my extended family and business partners who gave me the flexibility to devote time to causes that matter, from mentors, there are many here I could name, but especially Jim Alperin, Dave Tressler, and Seymour Brotman, who Rabbi referred to. Some of them are no longer with us. And one very special mentor you just heard from, Rabbi Sandhaus. I've served the Jewish Home, now Elan Skilled Nursing and Rehab, since the early 1990s. It's one of the strongest, most important institutions in our community, and it wouldn't be what it is today without Rabbi's leadership. Rabbi has worked with me, helped me leverage my strengths, and counseled me through countless challenges. He's been there for me personally and professionally, and I'm proud of the work we've done together. And of course, I thank my family. Roseanne, before me, we lost her in 1995, and she was more active in many ways than I was. She gave her time, her heart, and her strength to the community. To my children, Rebecca, who made it in tonight, Andrew, Kristen, and Lucas, they have been the light of my life and my inspiration. And to my wife, Patty. This recognition belongs as much to you as to me. Your encouragement, patience, and unwavering support have made all of this possible. And yes, Patty's most important role is keeping me humble, if you can imagine. Just a few weeks ago on our anniversary, she sent me a card. It said, "I love everything about you," except, of course, the things we've already discussed. It was a long list, too. I first came to know Jewish Family Services through my work on the United Way Allocation Committee. Al Geffen was the executive director. Back then, Jewish Family Services provided dental care for the indigent and counseling for Jewish families. Quiet, vital work that reflected the agency's deep values. One moment that crystallized Jewish Family Services' impact on me was the Soviet Jewry March in New York. I went with Seymour, Kathy, and many of you who were in our young leadership class. And when I came back, I was so inspired. I told Seymour, we have to do something. And he said, well, we have to run a campaign. And we ran a Passage to Freedom campaign, and I chaired it, and it was the first time I was involved. But raising the money was probably the easy part. We had 70 or 80 Soviet Jews who we resettled in the community, and Jewish Family Services took the lead in making that happen. Many of them are here today. Many of them, their families are still here today. I stay in touch with them. It was yeoman's work. It was unbelievable what we accomplished. And it was because Jewish Family Services was there and able to complete the mission. What makes Jewish Family Services special? It doesn't just serve programs. It serves people with names and futures that we shape. Today, Jewish Family Services continues to reflect our tradition's highest values: caring, compassion, and responsibility for all in need. From mental health services and guardianship to older adult support and the Megel Kosher Food Pantry, whose work is a testament to what it means to be a true community anchor. If I can offer one challenge tonight, you're only going to get one from me. It's this: we can't afford to make hard decisions. We can't be afraid to make hard decisions, I'm sorry. We must be bolder. Too often we preserve institutions simply because they've always been there. But institutions exist to serve people, not the other way around. Our region has limited resources. We need to be brave enough to right-size, to merge when necessary, to redeploy assets, and to meet the needs of today's community, not the community of 1980 or 2000. And yet, despite the demographic challenges, I'm incredibly optimistic about our future. Remote work has changed everything. AI and robotics are ushering in a new change of abundance. And here we are in a region with clean air, great schools, strong health care, and a relatively low cost of living. I believe we will see growth, I believe we will see population growth, and I believe the next generation won't be saying there's nothing here for our kids. And if that's going to happen, we have to start planning for it now. Within the Jewish community, that means rethinking how we engage the next generation. We especially need to invest in schools and camps that reach a broader cross-section of our Jewish youth. The data is clear. Most younger Jews don't affiliate the way we did. If we want a lasting Jewish future, we must meet them where they are, on their terms, with programs that are relevant and meaningful. But tonight, I'm here to say thank you to my family who traveled to be here, Rebecca, Antoni, David, Basha, Liz. To all my friends, your presence tonight deeply honors me, especially my golf buddies and my high school buddy, and I'm just so touched. To my associates from Astro, especially my friends and members of our leadership team, Jim Pusateri and Bobby Krumko came. It means the world to me. Thank you for being here to share with me. To Jewish Family Services, for setting up so many families for so many years. To Doug Fink, my predecessor as president of the Jewish Home and master of ceremonies. Doug is a brilliant businessman, an incredibly dedicated and effective volunteer, and he has become a true friend. To my fellow volunteers for sharing this journey. To the committee who made tonight possible, and I especially want to mention Donna Fiegelman. Donna. She had incredible commitment, tireless energy, and personal touch in making everything so meaningful to me and for you. Donna worked behind the scenes to ensure that so many of my friends were here tonight and helped make this evening not truly deeply personal, but also financially successful for Jewish Family Services, encouraging your generosity through ads, tickets, and support. I'm so grateful. I also want to thank my friends Harry and Cheryl who drove in from Connecticut and surprised me. It means the world to me. And most of all, to Patty for everything. This award may have my name on it, but it belongs to all of you who share this belief. Community matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. You always manage to say exactly the right thing with grace and humility, which is what makes you such a worthy honoree tonight. So to help us close out the special evening, I'm pleased to welcome someone whose leadership and passion have helped make events like this possible, and whose dedication to JFS speaks for itself. Please join me in welcoming the JFS Executive Director, Sheila Noodleman Abdo.
Okay, I'm going to pull this down a bit. I think I'm the shortest one at the podium tonight. Tonight, I'd like to take the opportunity to publicly thank and recognize some very special people. And the first person I'd like to talk about tonight is you, Jim, the honoree, Jim Alperin. As I prepared to say a couple words about Jim, or you are correct, Jimmy, as I sometimes call you, I decided to say a few words about your dad, Meyer. Although it seems I knew you, Jimmy, throughout my childhood, of course, you're also your beloved brother, Tommy, who I also know from childhood. It was really Meyer that I had more of a professional connection with throughout my career at JFS. Meyer was amazing and involved in so many nonprofit organizations throughout his lifetime, to include Jewish Family Service. I must admit, it took me a bit of time to not be intimidated by Meyer, or actually afraid of Meyer, but before long, I realized how smart and kind he was. I remember times that he phoned me concerned about someone in the community that needed help, and JFS responded to that need. After that, many times I would see Meyer, and he would slip me a donation check for JFS. I was less afraid of him at that point. Okay. Jimmy, I know tonight you are the focus, but the more I learned from and about your dad, it became clearer that in the Alperin family, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Except, of course, I really was never afraid of you, but many of the characteristics that I totally respect, I'm sure that your dad, your mom, the entire Alperin family, along with all of your friends, members of the community, are very grateful and proud for all you have done and continue to do for so many worthwhile organizations in our local and regional community. Your commitment to important causes, your leadership, your vision, help make our community a better place. We thank you, Jim, for all you do, and I could think of no better honoree for tonight's Community Matters event. Jim, would you come on up to the podium? I have a little gift for you. Okay. But it won't be a surprise because I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay. Picking a meaningful gift is not an easy task, but we wanted you to have something that would commemorate this event and honor you as you continue to do your part to make the world a better place. Jim, JFS is rooted in the Jewish tradition of philanthropy and social justice and tzedakah, as you heard this evening, the Jewish word for charity, which is fundamental to our purpose. Tonight, I'm presenting you with a tzedakah box from the Gary Rosenthal collection, personalized with our JFS logo and inscribed with your name on the back. It is my hope that this will be a special gift for you as you continue to do your part to care and help others in need and make our community a stronger, better place. We thank you again for all you do, Jim, your support and your efforts. Please join me in congratulating Jim again. Okay. Thanks, Jim. Thank you. Next, I'd like to thank tonight's speaker, Masters of Ceremony, Doug Fink, guest speaker, Rabbi Sandy, I guess I should say. I never called you Sandy, but Sandy Sandhaus, who spoke so beautifully about Jim. I'd like to recognize Jim's family, friends who joined us tonight to make this event very special. I'd like to also thank Dan Ginsberg, JFS president, Doug Smith, Jazz Trio, Pocono Kosher for helping tonight's event to be such a success. And of course the committee, as others had mentioned, Patty Alperin, Donna Fiegelman, Robin Jacobson, Nancy Johnson, Leah Lowry, Dale Miller, Lou Nivert, Margaret Sheldon, and Rabbi Daniel Schwartz, who made sure that we had an outstanding event, and to all of the board members for all your hard work and dedication. I'd now like to take a couple minutes to thank the staff of JFS, who always seem to sit over to the side. JFS staff, they strive every day to ensure that JFS meets our goals and continues with our mission to serve those of us in need. Their dedication, their skills, their professionalism are to be commended. Some of the staff have been with JFS for many years, and some just a few, and each of them does such an exceptional job. I'm honored to be part of such an outstanding, respected group of professionals. All of the agency staff are in your program book, so take a look at their pictures, match their faces to their names, and thank them this evening for doing such a great job and making such a positive difference in our community every single day. Can you give them a round of applause? Thanks. As we celebrate our 110th anniversary since our establishment, we're in a strong position to face the continued work ahead of us. This is due in large part to all of you who are sitting here tonight, whose charitable efforts are the catalyst for what JFS achieves and for the positive difference that JFS makes in the lives of those we serve. It's only together that we can build a stronger community. Before I go to the dessert reception, I have chores to do. Art gave me chores. The other one I don't totally understand, but we're gonna do the raffle 50-50 first? Okay. All right. All right, Art's telling me what to say after about the flowers. Okay, so first we're gonna talk about the 50-50 raffle, which worked out great. Did we say how much we brought in? Do you want me to? Okay. All right, so we brought over $2,500 in the raffle. 50-50 obviously is half and half. Jim, you wanna come up and pick the winner?
Nick Smith.
Okay. Is Nick Smith here tonight? Okay. If not, we contact Nick Smith and we send Nick a check. We have a phone number, not an address, but we will find the man. Okay. 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 All right, you want to take this, please?
Bobby knows.
Bobby knows him? Okay, cool. Okay. All right, excellent. All right, and then Art suggested that we ask the person whose birthday is closest to tonight's event date to win the flowers in the middle of the table so that you could take them home and enjoy them. Okay? Okay. All right, so at this point, since we have our ticket, we have our event, let's have dessert and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you, everyone.